Hi all. In the earlier videos, we learned about how to utilize open source stable diffusion models for image generation from prompts. We also learned some of the parameters using which we can enhance the results that we get out of this stable diffusion model. The results were quite stunning. In this video, we are talking about 8 secret ingredients of prompt engineering for image generation models, right? So realistic images using stable diffusion models just by utilizing 8 different elements of a prompt. So by combining the 8 different elements, we are going to generate such realistic HD vision, high clarity images using open source stable diffusion models. Right? And this image that we generated, let me show you the prior version or the very basic version of the image that you get when you just specify what you want from the stable diffusion model. So this was the basic image that the stable diffusion model generated when you simply specified that we want a marble ball sitting on top of a melting ice cube, right? This is not something very stunning or something very eye-catching, right? However, the next image that we see here is really eye-catching and can help you generate artistic images, combine the different styles of the artists, use HD vision, use a high resolution, change the color, lighting, different aspects. Let us proceed to our notebook section and see how we can do all this. Okay, so just as we created a stable diffusion pipeline using Hugging Face, we are going to do the same. And all the steps that we mentioned here, including the models that we are going to utilize, can be easily run on Google Colab free tier version so that all our viewers can make quick use of this notebook and then implement their own solutions. Okay, so we are going to quickly install some of the packages such as diffusers, transformers, Gradio, and Accelerate. Gradio is not required if you want to build an interface, only then Gradio is required. Then we import sub-libraries such as Stable Diffusion Pipeline from diffusers, matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, and Torch. Now, we utilize the 3 different models and check the results with all these 3 models. Stable Diffusion version 2.1 is the most recent one and that is giving us the best performance. So we are going to go ahead with it, right? You can go ahead and experiment with other Stable Diffusion models as well. Okay, anything v5 of Stable Diffusion is one of the other models that you can also make use of. It is also very interesting and provides very realistic images. Okay, let me quickly import and generate the pipeline I already ran this cell and created a pipeline. I have uploaded this to a CUDA environment because it makes things faster and Stable Diffusion works efficiently on CUDA enabled systems. Next, we are going to specify the parameters, right? We've learned about these parameters such as number of inference steps, number of images per prompt. These are some of the parameters that we can specify. Now, we are going to create a function that will accept the pipeline which we created here, the prompt that we want to pass, and the parameters here, right? So this is a very basic function. This is just calling this pipeline object, passing the prompt and the parameters, taking out the image, and then displaying the image in a plot. That's it, right? You can just watch this function and then implement the same. Okay. Now let me show you the very basic version. I'll just rerun these cells so that we can go along and see what kind of images that we are generating. So I'm calling this function generate image, passing the pipe object, and then passing my prompt, which is marble ball on melting ice cube, and specify the params. So our subject, right, which is the very basic thing. You know, the most basic thing of any prompt is specifying the subject, which is our object under study. What do we actually want to generate? Okay, so here we want to generate a marble ball or melting ice cube. This is our subject. Now, while this image is being generated, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe so that you never miss a video. So our first basic images have been generated using the simple prompt of marble ball on melting ice cube. Well, this looks fine, but it is not as stunning, and we can add a lot more details to this particular image generation, right? So the very basic subject, uh, we we can take examples of different subjects. I have took an example of three different subjects here. You can go around, experiment, and try to work around. Okay. Now, the first subject was a celestial city floating in the clouds, adorned with intricate spires and bridges connecting floating island. Similarly, the second subject is marble ball on melting ice cube, which we utilized here. This is our second subject. And the third subject is a graceful unicorn standing amidst a field of enchanted flowers. Just simple subjects, right? You can even utilize ChatGPT to help you with some of the subjects depending on what you are thinking. That's fine. Okay, now depending on the first subject, when I ran this, we are getting something really stunning here, right? This is with respect to the first subject. Now, enough about the subjects. Let us go and apply the second concept. The first concept or the first element of our prompting here was the subject, which is the most basic element. Remember, we are going to talk about 8 different key elements. So make sure you watch till the end. The second, the second ingredient that we are going to talk about is the medium. The medium is basically the way in which you want to portray the output, right? Ultra realistic photograph or digital image, digital painting. These are some of the mediums, right? Your medium, the canvas medium. So here we specified ultra realistic photograph of the prompt. The prompt is basically our subject 2. See, this is the complete prompt that we generate. Ultra realistic photograph of marble ball on melting ice cube placed on tabletop, center frame, sunrise in the background. I'll just rerun this. Okay, let us see the output. Okay, so our image is now generated, and we have generated an ultra realistic photograph of a marble ball sitting on an melting ice cube. You see, these results are really very stunning, and every time you run it, you are going to get some different results, because you know this is a probabilistic outcome that we generate. It's that with the use of these different ingredients, you're going to make the prompt much more effective and thereby improve your results drastically, right? Let us quickly move on to the third aspect, right? The third aspect is resolution. The first we talked about subject. Keep track of this, right? Subject, then the medium, and now the resolution. Under resolution, we specified highly detailed 4K resolution. You can specify 2K resolution. You can specify other different types of resolutions. Again, on the list of resolutions, if you just Google search the various resolution types, you are going to get a list of all those types. Right? It's a very simple thing, just as you use in any camera, in your photographs, when you take selfies, it's the same thing. So we are specifying highly detailed 4K resolution and then passing the previous prompt. So our prompt is highly detailed 4K resolution digital painting of marble ball on top of melting ice cube on a tabletop, center frame, sunrise in the background. I'm not going to rerun all these cells again, because you know it takes a lot of time and it will just unnecessarily increase the length of this video. So I'll just leave it up to you to rerun all of them, and I'll just highlight the 8 major ingredients that are required in order to make your prompts really effective. So we talked about 3. The fourth is the artist names, the name of the artist, a specific artist who is popular, such as Michelangelo, or you can say Picasso, or you can say Mona Lisa. These are some of the artist names who are very famous. Okay, so, are basically some of the arts which are very famous, and then you can specify those arts and it will try to mimic those art forms. For example, here we specified the art type of Picasso, right? So you see, the Picasso basically tried to use a unique blend of colors, so that is being represented here in the generated image. So it tries to cater to each of those nuances that we are going to specify. Okay, the next is like specifying the website. So we talked about 5 things so far. We talked about subject, we talked about resolution, we talked about medium, we talked about artist name, and now we are talking about the website. So website is basically now these images which are passed to stable diffusion. They have been trained on images catered from different websites, and each of these image websites have a specific characteristic of images. For example, dreamlike. For example, ArtStation, right? They represent a specific type of images. I'll provide some of the references in the description. You can check them out. In those references, you'll find some of the popular website names, some of the popular keywords that are being utilized in Stable Diffusion, right? So when I use dreamlike as my prompt, so this is a stunning image that I get out of it, right? It's a really stunning, really marvelous image. So we talked about, and just by adding these 5 ingredients so far, we made a drastic change to the outcome that we saw in the very first image, in the very basic prompt that contained only the subject, right? Now, this will help you master prompting techniques for LIMs, large image generation models. Okay. The next thing is lighting. Lighting is the sixth thing. And in combination with lighting, you can also specify the color. Basically, the overall scenic color that you want to provide to your prompt, right? So that makes seven altogether. The sixth is lighting. The seventh is color. Okay, so just by specifying the lighting as sunlight sharp focus, you see the way this image changed or the way things are changing, right? In each of these additions, you can play around with a combination of these ingredients and then add some ingredients, remove some ingredients. My job here is to let you be aware of these different techniques and provide you with a standardized approach to prompt engineering, right? So now with these seven so far, we can generate multitude of images that are realistic, very artistic and very creative, right? Just use your creativity and develop such stunning images. And the final one, the eighth one, and the final one is the artistic style. You can specify whether you want a pop art or you want a different art styles which are available, right? Again, the list will be provided in the description. You can check those lists out. Now, in the artistic style, right? In the artistic style, if I have specified here pop art, you can even specify modernistic. This is one of the another examples of artistic styles. Now let us run this and see how our result comes out. So while this takes a while, if you really enjoyed this lecture and if you learned something new, make sure to give it a thumbs up so that you never miss a video and this content is shared further with more people like you who want to learn about the effectiveness of prompt engineering for large language models, which we already discussed the 6 key ingredients of prompt engineering. And now in this video, we are talking about 8 secret ingredients of prompt engineering for image generation models, right? So hope you are enjoying these lectures. If you're new to the channel, once again, make sure to subscribe so that you never miss a video and stay on top of your learning. So our results are out and the pop art that we see here is really stunning and mesmerizing. We are able to generate images from the likes of Midjourney, from the likes of DALL-E 2 using open source large image models from Stable Diffusion. And these models are very small in size so that they can be easily run on a Google Colab free tier environment, right? We are using a T4 GPU from Google Colab. So, so have a nice day. Bye bye. Jai Hind.